Okay, thank you for watching this week's video lecture. This week we will be looking at pages starting at 50, going through to 55. We'll study about Unit 8. You can see the title, My Life Would Be Great. So in this lesson, we're going to be doing two main things. The first one is describing places. So describing places. And then we will practice the second conditional. So describing places, we're going to talk about living in the city and living in the countryside. So what are some of the differences? And the grammar part, the second conditional, this is when you want to talk about something that is unlikely or impossible or imagined. And you want to talk about the results of that impossible or imagined condition in the future or in the present. So this is where we say if. So we can say, if I had $1 million. Do I have $1 million? No. But imagine, if I had $1 million, I would buy a Ferrari, a sports car. So we're going to use if plus would, could, might to talk about something that we want to do now or in the future, but it's if something is special, something is different. Okay, so the first part to get warmed up is on page 50. It's on page 50. So if you look at the picture on page 50, what do you see in the picture? So here's the picture. What do you see? We have some different things about the city. So there's traffic, cars, buses. Busan has a lot of traffic, especially downtown in Samyeon or Nampodong. And job market, the job market. So the job market is about what kind of jobs are available. So if you are looking for a part-time job, the job market for part-time jobs has things like restaurant server, cafe worker, delivery, food delivery driver, or bar worker, many different kinds of jobs. C, shopping. Ooh, I like to go shopping. If I had a lot of money, I would go shopping every day. Nightlife. Ooh, dancing, drinking, eating. And E, air quality. Air quality. So these days, because of COVID-19, there is less traffic in some cities. So the air quality is better. But some days we have fine dust. Fine dust is misemanji. So because of the fine dust, the air quality can be bad. So we can talk about air quality. And the last one, public transportation. So traffic is like cars, public transportation. You can take a bus or subway, train if you want to go to another city. There are different kinds. So let's check. A, traffic. So A, you can see the cars. He looks very angry. So there must be a lot of traffic. He's hitting his horn. So A is about traffic. B is the job market. Can you see the job market? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Okay, so B, you can see some people, they're waiting. The sign says help wanted. Help wanted. So this store next World Electronics is a shop, and they need some workers. So she has her resume, her CV. They are going to have interviews. C, so shopping. West Side shoes. Okay, it's easy to see. So they are shopping for some shoes. He's bought a lot. So we have shopping. Nightlife. It's daytime, so the nightclub is closed. But they have, you can't read very well here, but in the book you can see jazz concert tonight. Next week, DJ Katsu. Maybe Donkas. But the green note is nightlife. Maybe it's a jazz club. So nightlife. Air quality, you can see in the back, there's a factory and the CO2, the gas is coming out. It's coming out of the cars, makes the air bad. And the last one, number 2, they are waiting for a bus at the bus stop. So this is public transportation F. Okay. So if we look at the next page, you can see page 51. We have Tanya. You can remember her from, I think, Unit 1. Tanya and Brad. Now, they are talking about Brad's neighborhood. So, neighborhood is where you live. So, if you live next to Dongsa University, your neighborhood is Juredong. If you live in Haeundae, your neighborhood is Haeundae. Okay, so let's start by listening to Tanya and Brad.
Page 51, Conversation. Complete the conversation. Then listen and check your answers. Practice the conversation with a partner.
Hey, Brad, your new place is huge, and you're in a really good neighborhood, too. I've heard it has great nightlife.
Yeah, I know. All it's missing is a good gym. It would be perfect if it had one.
How's the public transportation? Is there a bus stop nearby?
No, it's a long walk away, so it takes forever to get to work. If I were in charge, I'd build one closer to here.
Yeah, if it was closer, you could sleep in later.
But at least the restaurants are good. In fact, there's an amazing French place around the corner.
Wow. If I lived here, I might eat out every night.
I know. Speaking of restaurants, are you hungry? Let's go get something to eat. My treat.
Okay, great. So we had Tanya and Brad. Let's see what they're talking about. So Tanya first. Hey, Brad, your new place is huge. It's very big. It's huge. And you're in a really good neighborhood. So neighbor is the person, neighborhood is the area. So hey Brad, your new place is huge and you're in a really good neighborhood. You're in a really good neighborhood too. I've heard it has great nightlife. So Brad lives in a fun part of town. Yeah, I know. All it's missing is a good gym. So the good neighborhood, Brad's neighborhood, is missing a good gym. So there is no good health center for exercise. All it's missing is a good gym. It would be perfect if it had one. Okay, so here is our grammar point today. If it would be perfect if it had one. One good gym. If it had a good gym, it would be perfect. So his neighborhood is great, but it would be perfect if it had a good gym. It doesn't have a good gym. Okay, so yeah, I know. All it's missing is a good gym. It would be perfect if it had one. How's the public transportation? Is there a bus stop nearby? No, there isn't a bus stop. No, it's a long walk away. So it takes forever to get to work. If I were in charge, so in charge, if he is the manager, the mayor, the president, if I were in charge, I would build one closer to here. So is he in charge? No. But if I were in charge, I would build one closer to here. Yeah, if it was closer, you could sleep in later. So Tanya says, if the bus stop was closer, haha, you could sleep in later. You could stay in bed for a long time. But at least the restaurants are good. In fact, there's an amazing French place around the corner. French restaurant around the corner. Wow, if I lived here, I might eat out every night. So Tanya says, if I lived here in Brad's neighborhood, if I lived here, she doesn't live here. She lives in a different neighborhood. Brad lives in Samyan. Tanya lives in Nampodong. So they live in different parts. If I lived here, I might eat out every night. So Tanya thinks I might eat out every night. Eat out at the restaurants. I know. Speaking of restaurants, are you hungry? Let's go eat something. Oh, let's go get something to eat. My treat. My treat. Okay. So let's watch again. Here we have Tanya on the left and Brad on the right. So they are in Brad's neighborhood and talking about Brad's new apartment. Are you ready? Let's listen.
Hey, Brad, your new place is huge. And you're in a really good neighborhood, too. I've heard it has great nightlife.
Yeah, I know. All it's missing is a good gym. It would be perfect if it had one.
How's the public transportation? Is there a bus stop nearby?
No, it's a long walk away, so it takes forever to get to work. If I were in charge, I'd build one closer to here.
If it was closer, you could sleep in later.
But at least the restaurants are good. In fact, there's an amazing French place around the corner.
Wow. If I lived here, I might eat out every night.
I know. Speaking of restaurants, are you hungry? Let's go get something to eat. My treat.
Okay, so one more time, then we will do an activity. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, Brad, your new place is huge. And you're in a really good neighborhood, too. I've heard it has great nightlife.
Yeah, I know. All it's missing is a good gym. It would be perfect if it had one.
How's the public transportation? Is there a bus stop nearby?
No, it's a long walk away, so it takes forever to get to work. If I were in charge, I'd build one closer to here.
If it was closer, you could sleep in later.
But at least the restaurants are good. In fact, there's an amazing French place around the corner.
Wow. If I lived here, I might eat out every night.
I know. Speaking of restaurants, are you hungry? Let's go get something to eat. My treat.
Now, okay, let's look at the next slide. So we can think about Tanya and Brad talking about Brad's new neighborhood. So let's think, is it true, false, or no information? So Brad just moved to a new place. Brad's neighborhood has a gym. There is great public transportation in Brad's neighborhood. There are good places to eat in Brad's neighborhood. Brad often sleeps in late. And Tanya likes eating at French restaurants. Okay, if you pause, you can check these sentences. And then we will listen one more time and check true, false, or we don't know. When you're ready, we can watch.
Hey, Brad, your new place is huge. And you're in a really good neighborhood, too. I've heard it has great nightlife.
Yeah, I know. All it's missing is a good gym. It would be perfect if it had one.
How's the public transportation? Is there a bus stop nearby?
No, it's a long walk away, so it takes forever to get to work. If I were in charge, I'd build one closer to here.
If it was closer, you could sleep in later.
But at least the restaurants are good. In fact, there's an amazing French place around the corner.
Wow. If I lived here, I might eat out every night.
I know. Speaking of restaurants, are you hungry? Let's go get something to eat. My treat.
Okay, so next slide. So Brad just moved to a new place. Is it true, false, or no information? So this first one, Tanya said, "Hey Brad, your new place is huge." So his new apartment is huge. So yes, he just moved to a new place. Brad's neighborhood has a gym. So remember, all it's missing is a good gym. So this one, yeah, false or maybe no information. It's missing a good gym. So maybe there is a bad gym. But Brad's neighborhood, all it's missing is a good gym. There is great public transportation in Brad's neighborhood. So where is the bus stop? Is there a bus stop near here? No, it's a long walk. So the bus stop is far, far away from his apartment. There are good places to eat. So good places to eat in Brad's neighborhood. Many restaurants. Yes. He said, at least the restaurants are good. In fact, there's an amazing French place around the corner. And Brad often sleeps in late. So sleeps in is when you wake up late. Sometimes I sleep in on Saturdays. So Brad often sleeps in late. We don't know. We don't know. Tanya said, if it was closer, you could, possible, you could sleep in late. But we don't know what does Brad do. And the last one, Tanya likes eating at French restaurants. We don't know. She would eat out every night, so maybe it's possible. Let's check the next slide. So here, we watched the video 3 times already, so we can just do this exercise. So what would Brad do if he were in charge? What could Brad do if there was a bus stop near his place? And what would Tanya do if she lived in Brad's neighborhood? And then 4, who offers to pay for the restaurant meal? So our first one here, what would Brad do? So this part is not real, it's imagined. So if he were in charge, if he were the manager or the mayor, the president, what would Brad do if he were in charge? If he were the CEO of the bus company, he would put a bus stop near his place. So he would, if he were in charge, but he's not in charge. Number 2, what could Brad do if there was a bus stop near his place? So again, this part is not real. It's imagined, his dream. So Brad's house is here. I'm not good at drawing. The bus stop is here, it's far away. If the bus stop was here, what could he do? Could, can, possible. So he could get to work earlier, yeah, sure, but he could sleep in later. He could sleep in later. 3, what would Tanya do if she lived in Brad's neighborhood? So remember, Tanya lives in Nampodong, Brad lives in Samyan. They are different neighborhoods. If Tanya lived in Brad's neighborhood, what would she do? She might eat out every night. She might eat out every night. And then finally, who offers to pay for the restaurant meal? So this one's at the end. Brad says, my treat. My treat. So Brad will pay for the meal. Oh, he's so nice. I like Brad. Okay, so, oh, that's a mess. Okay, so what makes a neighborhood great? So let's make a list together. So neighborhood is your town. Where do you live? Nampodong, Daeandong, Jure, Sasang. Where do you live? Things that make a neighborhood great. So let's see. First, good public transportation. So are there many buses or many subway trains? If your neighborhood has good public transportation, it is good. My neighborhood doesn't have good public transportation. Things that make a neighborhood great. Oh, restaurants. You need many restaurants to eat something different and new every day. Trees. If there are many trees, the air can be clean and they are beautiful to look at. So my neighborhood doesn't have good public transportation. I walk 20 or 30 minutes to the subway. There are no buses. There are many restaurants and there are many trees. I live next to a park. I can see it from my window. So let's see, things that make a neighborhood great. If you pause the video and you can try to make a list, then we'll come back and I'll give you some more ideas. So press pause and welcome back. So let's see some ideas, some things that make a neighborhood great. I think good shopping. There are many stores and department stores, shopping malls in your neighborhood. Sports facilities. Is there a gymnasium or health club? Or do they have soccer fields or bicycle paths that can make good facilities? Public parks. Public parks like Busan Citizen Park or Children's Park. Friendly people. It's very important. Sometimes neighbors can be unfriendly. Good schools. So if you are a parent, good schools are very important for the children. And that was the last one. And anyway, I think that's a good time to finish this first video section. We'll come back and do the language practice and the listening in video number 2. So I'll stop this here and see you in the next part.